but isn't interest like bad? Or,
Yeah.
and nobody talked about it. Yeah. So the depression metric, if you may, is higher in Seattle than it would be in Dallas. All these places, just go to Seattle, bro.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Jazakallah khair for joining us for another episode of the Halal Finance Hub. Today, I have someone who is making it more accessible for Muslims to build wealth, right? But he also has an excellent track record of building product at companies like Microsoft. And on top of all of that, alhamdulillah, he's doing all of this while staying connected to his deen and building a strong community. Khurram, welcome to the podcast, man.
Assalamu alaikum, great to be here.
Yeah, man. I think you're doing what you're doing in the best city possible in the U.S. I feel like because of the community, the weather, right? Is that one of the main reasons why you moved here?
The weather. I mean, you're coming here, what is it, November now? It's the best time of year. You should come here in August and then we can talk about weather.
It's hot?
It's hot. It's
real
nice
hot,
and hot. Nice and cozy.
Yeah, like I think, it's weird, but the weather definitely contributes to people's mood and wanting to be in the community.
Can I tell you a
and
story?
things like that. Yeah.
So I actually was in Canada for my school, right? So I went to McGill.
right?
I did McGill for my computer engineering. Yeah. Then I moved to Microsoft, which was in Seattle.
Rainy.
Seattle is the most gorgeous place on earth.
Really?
Really. I mean, people paid a lot of money to go to all these places. Just go to Seattle, bro. On the highway, there's nice hikes and green year long. It's called the Evergreen State. So it's beautiful, gorgeous. It rains 10 months out of the year there, which I don't mind. I mean, I'm originally from Pakistan. I've seen hot weather. Then I saw really cold weather in Montreal for 4 years, right? Like the kind of weather where you take a shower, you walk out, your hair freezes.
Yeah,
right?
Montreal is hard, man.
It's bad. So I didn't mind the rain. But the interesting story is that generally, despite all the economy, despite all the tech boom and high incomes and all that, Microsoft, Amazon, people are generally depressed in Seattle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the depression metric, if you may, is higher in Seattle than it would be in Dallas. It's because of the vitamin D.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough vitamin D, and that contributes.
See, that's what I was wondering. I was like, it rains a lot, and it seems beautiful, but there can't be that much sunlight, man.
There is 3 months of the most gorgeous weather, and by the way, don't get me wrong, I love Seattle more than any other place in this country. And the sky, when it is there, is more blue than you'd find anywhere else.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. But then it does have this constant drizzling thing. Here's an interesting fact for you. It actually rains more in New York City than it rains in Seattle.
Oh, wow.
Over 12 months.
Okay.
The problem is, in New York, it would rain over 3 months.
Yeah.
And in Seattle, it's exaggerated over 12 months or 10 months or something. So it feels like it's always raining.
That's fine.
But don't take it away. It's the best place. I love it.
Place.
Love the community there and all.
Yeah, the community there is amazing too. And I think like just being around people who are building cool things is inspiring in and of itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But about you, I think coming back to you, it's just like you've been that person for a lot of people. I think that you've been that person. How long was it at Microsoft?
So I was at Microsoft for almost 17 years.
17 years. What are some products that you built out at Microsoft?
That gets me into trouble usually.
Oh, really?
I'm proud of the time I spent
Yeah.
at Microsoft. People ask me, why did you stay there 17 years, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, there was never a reason to leave.
Yeah.
Because I was learning something new every year, meeting good people, a great mentor network, great networking. Why would I leave?
Yeah.
People leave jobs to find that.
Yeah.
And I was getting that on a year-by-year basis. So some of the products I work on, I was part of the Windows embedded team in the beginning. So there's the big Windows. Everybody uses Windows laptops, right?
Yeah.
But your timer over there, your microphone, your light over there also has Windows running on it.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it's the smaller version of Windows. We called it Windows CE.
Okay.
Small version. And I worked on that. So I was in the networking team for CE, all the embedded devices, which became Windows Phone. Microsoft released a phone, which nobody ever used, except me, my family. We loved it.
That's funny.
I would not trade my time on Windows Phone for anything in the world.
Really, eh?
And nobody used the phone. That's okay. But I loved it. So I was in the Windows CE, Windows Phone, Windows networking teams.
Yeah.
That's what I did. And then part of my last roles was, and this people don't like me for when I disclose that. So you have Windows Update.
Yeah.
And you close that X button, it still goes ahead and does the update for you.
Oh my goodness.
I did that for my sins. That was my team. We owned Windows Update for my for my last owner.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So a lot of back-end stuff, but important stuff nonetheless, it seems like.
Yeah.
And you said, I had XYZ at Microsoft. People spend a lot of time looking for that in their jobs. Why would I leave? So why did you leave?
So it's a very good question. And eventually, it was a selfish decision. I didn't have to leave. I could have stayed there, become a very senior exec there. I just got bored.
Oh, really?
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just got bored in that if I were to leave, what would change? Nothing. Microsoft would still work. My teams would still continue to work. So what really am I contributing? So for me, it's impact, which is important.
Okay.
So what kind of impact am I having on my teams, my customers, the larger community and all? And I just felt I was stagnating on that. Money was good. Career progression was good.
Yeah.
The boredom level was high. And the impact level just felt it was dropping. That was the main reason.
What was the first thing you did when you left? So how did you go look for that?
So when that happened, I'm a tech guy, right? I write code. I manage teams that write code. I've done big projects at Microsoft with 100 developers and all that, right? So that was my thing. So when I started this feeling of if I die, they're going to bury me in the sports fields of Microsoft, and that's all I would ever do, I actually went and did an MBA. That was a completely, I was doing economics 101, which 17-year-olds learn in high school, and I'd never done that. So I did a full Wharton MBA, very aggressive, very, very time-consuming, really out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I learned finance, and I learned investments and FinTech and all these derivatives and everything. It was a whole new world for me. Yeah. And I realized that, alhamdulillah, that's a blessing for me, that I have a whole bunch of my tech background, my academic background as well as my professional background. Yeah. And then I have all this academic background from finance, investments. And now I have this amalgamation of that in a fintech world.
Yeah.
What can I do with it?
Yeah.
And that really was this inspiration for myself to keep thinking about how I can impact the Muslim community using fintech.
Yeah.
That's how I got it.
I'm going to come back to that impact piece. But what's interesting to me, and I think that too many young people go through this, especially in a world now. So we live in this world where you want instant gratification. You can learn anything at your fingertips. And if you don't know it, AI will help you through it. And so you left everything that you knew and were great at and spent so much time building to go be a stranger in something brand new. Were there moments of, man, what am I doing here? Let me call it quits. How did you handle those moments?
I'm not going to lie to you and say there weren't those moments, right?
Yeah.
Because the life of an entrepreneur, business owner is very different from the life that I led for 20 years, right? It's a very different... So I managed people who were earning $500,000 a year.
Oh, man.
Then I became a startup guy or a business owner, and I would hire people at $16 an hour. So the quality difference of what I was used to, my ecosystem around me was very different. But I think the primary reason and learning for me is that change is good. Without change, if water doesn't move, it goes stagnant. It goes bad. Change has to be part of I believe, honestly, if we stop change, we die. So change is good. So there were times when I was like, what am I doing, man? Like I could go back and I could just run back, write some code or go back, talk to my friends at Microsoft and go back there. Yeah. And there were moments, and I actually did talk to people about it. I did have that itch.
Oh, yeah?
But eventually, change is good.
Yeah. No,
change is good.
And then that accomplishment, like light at the end of the tunnel, graduation's right around the corner.
Change, and light at the end of the tunnel, that's not why I was doing it.
It was a journey.
For me, journey is important. The ends don't justify what you were doing.
Yeah.
For me, the everyday smell a few roses along the way, that's important.
Yeah. No, alhamdulillah. I think, and then after your master's, you ended up at Oracle, or was that before?
So I stayed at Microsoft for a bit after that.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then I went to Oracle. The reason I went to Oracle was I just had this feeling that I'm very successful at Microsoft.
But tried somewhere else.
I want to prove myself that I can do it at oracle.com also.
Yeah.
So alhamdulillah, I did that. And I realized a big company is a big company. And I thought I was very transferable. And tomorrow I could go to Amazon or Facebook or whatever else. And I could be successful, inshallah, over there. So I sort of checked that off. But it didn't really solve what I was really looking for.
Yeah.
Right.
Which was impact.
Which was more impact, more legacy, more what am I doing after I'm gone, that kind of thing.
So after that, you started Agha's Invest.
I did.
Right?
Yeah.
So talk us through that, because I think this is where that impact piece sort of comes back around.
Yeah. So Agha's was an accident. It was really an accident. I didn't go out, set out to start a fintech company or any of that, right? My motivation really was that we started to invest money. We started to put our savings into 401ks and things like that at Microsoft, right? Microsoft provides you a whole bunch of tools. They provide you financial advisors and services.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, and once you get to a certain seniority level. And after a while, I was like, okay, so I'm making decent money. It's growing very well. And I'm filing my taxes. And one fine morning, my 1099, I'm filing it. And this is during my MBA days, right? So now I'm learning the financial lingo, what accounting means, what forms actually mean, right? Rather than just dumping it into TurboTax and having it spew out your taxes. Yeah. So I saw interest income and bond income and things like that. And I didn't know anything about it before. Yeah. But now I did. Bonds make money a certain way. And that money ain't cool, man. It's not right. Interest and all that. I used to ask myself, and this is a true story. And I was like, hey, so we're making all this money from bonds and the 60-40 portfolio and everything, but isn't interest like bad? And nobody talked about it. Yeah. So that led me down this rabbit hole of trying to figure out what this means. Is it really bad? And if it's bad, what do we do about it? Yeah. So then this realization for me was, it can't be that my deen is going to block me from making money or growing my savings or investing. Yeah. So the fact that I'm not able to do it according to my deen is actually not a problem with my deen. It's a problem with me and others like me who are not solving that problem. Yeah. So that was like, what can I do about it? I'm a solutions guy. I'm not a problem guy. I don't focus on the problem. I focus on what can I do about it. Yeah. So we made this small startup, which basically was other fintechs that existed anyway. I just put the Sharia compliant or Islamic angle on it. So rather than invest in any 60-40 or other portfolio, let's create an Islamically compliant portfolio. Yeah. And the rest of it was tech and software and data science and everything. That was Agha's.
Wow. Yeah, I think, you got to say that a little louder for the people in the back, because it really is just, Islam is so holistic, right? Islam Allah wouldn't leave us hanging. The Prophet ﷺ wouldn't leave us hanging. It's considered a guide for our entire lives, right? We've all had a moment where we're confused about something. We open the Quran and it turns out that ayah's translation is exactly what I needed in my life in that moment, Absolutely. Yeah. But just like that, I think it's so crazy to think, especially in the West, we come here, we're taught a certain way, and that's all we know. We're just so stuck to it that, no, the West has taught me this, so this must be true. And so for you to go through that
But that's
journey,
not the West's fault.
That's not the West's fault.
It's our fault. What are we doing about it?
Yeah.
How do we counter it?
You're
Have we studied it? And no disrespect to anyone. There are some really, really qualified Muslims in this country. Yeah. They have studied finance according to the Western finance as high as you can go. And then they also have the equivalent Islamic education. Yeah. So those are the experts who can really counter it. But if we don't study it, if I stayed at Microsoft all my life and I didn't know what bond income really meant, I wouldn't solve anything. Yeah. It's because we didn't take the pain to study and to learn. Yeah. And if we don't, then we'll just have to follow what others tell us is the way to do it.
So why, alhamdulillah, cushy life.
Very cushy life.
Tech, you got to build amazing product, had amazing connections there, then got the Wharton MBA. You had an opportunity to just live out a cushy life. Right? But you chose to take on this problem. Now, two questions to that, right? I understand the whole impact piece, but also why you, right? Why you? Why not the people that you just spoke about, right? What makes you think that you can do it versus?
Because I'm the only person I control. I'm the only person who listens to myself. Yeah. Right? I'm the only person who believes that I can actually make a difference. Yeah. If this other qualified person believes a certain direction or deen of life, I'm not going to convince them to solve this particular problem. Yeah. Allah, and this is not a situation where I'm trying to make it about a calling or whatever, but I was put in a situation where I was well suited to solve it. Yes. So that's why it would be shirking responsibility if I didn't do it.
No, man, that's such a good reminder. I think it's such a good reminder because I think, um, you know, we feeling saved in certain situations is nice, right? When you don't have to take on responsibility and someone comes and takes care of something for you. I don't know why that rang, but someone takes on something for you. But to take responsibility for yourself, take responsibility on yourself, I think that's also something that Islam teaches us. You know what I mean? Um, so now, alhamdulillah, you've started Aghaz, right? You have started building whatever you've gotten licenses, I guess, at this point. You've started building whatever it is that you're building from scratch, from a tech perspective. Talk to us about that journey.
So it was night and day, 180 degrees difference in my professional career. So at Microsoft, I was a senior director, and I would have a team of 10 people who would write my slide decks for me, who would write my documents for me, who would do my research for me, right? And so when I go and present to this VP guy, I've had a team of people, and I really didn't do much in it. I just basically stood on their shoulders and I was the mouthpiece. I go do this startup and I'm the only guy. I have to do the research. I have to do the sales. I have to do the decks. I have to go pitch it. So first of all, there was an entire mindset change about ownership, about what it really means to deliver something independently. So that was one. That's how it was different, like you said.
That
right?
sounds different.
So first of all, that's what happened. And then what happened was, so my strengths were technology, building software. So that's what I focused on. So the first thing we actually did was we built a good platform. We developed good software technology on top of it. Then we integrated some more software and models for Python and other things to make investment decisions.
Yeah.
And eventually, 6 months, we had a good product.
Yeah.
I thought we had a good product. We raised money. It was alhamdulillah good. The first pre-seed round was a good round. We did some angels, friends and family, raised some money. I hired a very good team. I'm proud of the people that chose to work with us in the very first. I mean, it was a shot to nothing, right? I mean, startups come and go every day. Yeah. So they chose to invest their time with us, their careers with us. So I'm always going to be grateful for the early team that we had. We raised some money. We were raising more money. Our metrics were doubling month over month. Nice. So alhamdulillah, all good stuff. But there's a great book out there called Crossing the Chasm. So your early adopters, your supporters, your initial enthusiasm and adrenaline takes you to this point, and then there's a chasm. So crossing that chasm is where most startups fail. Okay. So I reached that chasm quite quickly. So I'm at that chasm, and I know that what got me here will not get me there. So you have to change strategy over the hump. So you have to raise more money. So it became a very vicious circle of raise more money, spend more money, acquire more customers to raise more money, to spend more money, to acquire even more customers. So that's the vicious circle, I call it. It's actually a very good circle because once you crack it, the growth is hockey stick. It's great. So that's where I was. And I was raising money. I was raising my second round. I was raising $1 million in it. And we had a bunch of soft circles, and I had already raised, I think, 25% of that, like $250K. Some VCs were involved in this round. And then this was post-COVID. And all of a sudden, there was a big problem in the VC market. Yeah. And soft circles disappeared, and it just became very hard to raise more money. Okay. For everybody, not just me. It was just everybody. Now, other people might have had a better runway. So they were fine. So the learning for me was that when I did my first round, I actually stopped while I was still raising. So I could have raised more, but I didn't. I was very self-conscious. Yeah. Oh, I don't want to give up more equity than that, right? So I sort of didn't continue to raise as much as I could have, which would have helped me then. Because the downside of me not being able to raise more money in my second round for a while, there was only this period, was that I couldn't spend enough on marketing. So you don't spend enough, your growth slows. Yeah. Your growth slows, you can't raise more. You can't raise more, you can't spend more. That's the reverse cycle starts, right? So I was in that phase, and that was a dark phase. Every entrepreneur knows this phase. You are still growing, but you're not growing the way you were growing before. And that kills you. And then you're not able to raise money like you were raising before. And you know that you need to raise more. So then you have to let go of a few people. So I went through that cycle where some of my team I had to let go. I had to scale back on some of my operations just to maintain it. Because at this point, I had 2,000, 2,500 customers. I couldn't abandon them. We still had to give them service. But giving them service came at the cost of developing new services. So this was the conundrum where I was. which is when Manzil and I started talking.
Yeah.
So Manzil, Dr. Muhammad Sawaf, I knew him multiple years ago. We met in Dubai. He was competing in an Islamic finance competition, and I got an award in that competition.
Cool.
So we were just happy-go-lucky, good mutual connections, and we met them. And then I was just talking to. It's actually a funny story. So I was talking to an investor friend of mine, who I had pitched to in that round, the round where things started just disappearing, right? So I was talking to him. I was not talking to him. I pitched him in 2022, 2023, something like that. And he never responded.
Uh-oh.
So I was like, okay, that's fine. He didn't respond. He ghosted me. And then I got an email from him in 2024, June, July.
Yeah.
Like after 18 months of never having heard from him. And he's like, hey, I just wanted to see how you were doing.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay, well, it would have been nice 18 months ago. But so I told him, we're doing well. We actually have an acquisition offer. We're talking to some people about it. You're like, are you thinking about it? I was like, I have some offers. Otherwise, I'll keep doing what I'm doing. He's like, have you talked to Manzil? I was like, who, Sawaf? He's like, yeah, Sawaf. I was like, no, I haven't talked to him since my Dubai, whatever. So he connected us, and he and I talked. And Muhammad, you know him. I know him very well. He's a ball of energy. So we just got talking, and long story short, Manzil ended up acquiring us.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, I think if we go back to, the journey on the Agha side, there's so much to unpack there, right? The ownership part, I think, is a huge, huge, huge learning. A lot of people, I feel like, don't learn that till they have to go through it. Not even just, it's a difficult environment to create at a workplace to make everyone feel like an owner, That's not an easy thing to do, for them to be so bought in, because they've got other things in their life, they got other things going on. So going through that, and then I feel like once that's instilled in you, you bring it into everything that it is that you do, right? But also, I think those dark days, right? Those dark days, when you did go through them, and you had to let people go, and you felt like you were letting down your customers and things like that, how'd you get through those days?
So it really goes back to, I don't know if you've seen that book, It Starts With Why.
Yeah.
So I go back to my why.
Yeah.
That was really the reason. I'll tell you a story. So I was at Microsoft, so I've been in front of Bill Gates and all that. So at very early days when he was very engaged with Microsoft. So there's a clip of Bill Gates like in 1984 or something. So this lady is interviewing him. It's on Instagram all over. And he's like 29 years old or 30 years old at that time. So she asked him, so how much are you worth? And he's like, I actually don't know. So she's like, you don't know what you're worth? He's like, I don't know what Microsoft is worth. It's a private company. He's like, you are sure that you don't know? He's like, we're not doing it for that.
Yeah.
There's a problem to be solved, and we are passionate about that problem. And sure, money's coming in. It's all good. But we're not even looking at it. We're solving the problem. So my dark days, my whatever days, it goes back to the why. Why are we doing it? Why are we spending all our careers, all this, everything that you mentioned, to solve this problem? Because the problem is worth solving. And if I don't solve it, that's fine too. But at least I would have tried.
Yes.
And somebody else can potentially take it and solve it better than I did. Yeah. But if I quit, if I don't do it, then what was the fun in all that?
Yeah.
Right? Then the problem that was worth solving, we didn't solve. She asked her, there's another interview with Elon Musk. I take a lot of inspiration from these guys, just on business side. And she's like, did you know that Tesla would be so successful? He's like, no, I was sure it was going to fail.
Oh, wow.
She's like, you knew it was going to fail.
And
you still put $150 million of your own money in it. Why? Because he said, because problems that are worth solving are worth solving. Yeah. And whether they work or not doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, and we take it back to our deen. I mean, we're not doing it for worldly success. That Allah gives whoever He chooses to. Yeah. But we're doing it because we're doing it for Allah's system, Allah's deen, Allah's whatever He's created for us, the unique, vertical, narrow opportunities that He's given us. Yeah. So we got to do the best in that we can, with the hope that He'll be pleased with our efforts at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was. I mentioned this to you, but in one of our last episodes with Osama, he had this thing, it was Muslims are not results oriented, they are command oriented, right? And that really hits home, and I think that's similar in what you're saying, right? Like that why, or what is our purpose, that trumps what the results end up being in this world. And sure, you want to be excellent. It's not like you're sitting there thinking, oh, whatever, like it doesn't really matter what I do. Like obviously you're putting every single effort into being excellent and building the best product and doing the best that you can. But sometimes it doesn't work out, you know?
And this is a completely non-tech, this is my personal philosophy. So one of the sins or one of the crimes we commit, we as in human beings, is hubris. It's that we think we are good enough or we can do something. We are too full of ourselves. And that's a cardinal sin to me. We got to be humble. We got to have this dose of humility. And as you grow older, whether you like it or not, when you go through certain life experiences, life teaches you that.
If you don't.
So you might as well have that understanding because life will teach you. So people who think that, I mean, God bless them. I don't know. I mean, eventually they'll learn. So you have to feel that there's somebody guiding you. You got to lean on other people's support. You got to be vulnerable yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is not.
What was that? I think it was a Mike Tyson saying it was everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Right.
Oh man, and you're gonna get punched so hard.
Everybody does. Everybody gets punched. It's okay.
It's how you get up, right?
It's how you get up.
So I think my next question is in all of this, and this is the last little bit that I'd love to end this on, and it'll be a longer part of it. All of this, I think, you built great tech product in your life. You understood finances for yourself, and alhamdulillah, you get to build this product, right? But why is it so important? Like, why is wealth so important? Why is wealth for a Muslim so important, right? That's what you're building for. That's what you're making more accessible to them, right? Why do you think it's so important?
This is a philosophical question, and I think it warrants people better than me, chiming in on this as well. I recommend to everybody they should read that book, The Psychology of Money. I don't know if you've read it. It's worth reading. It's worth reading not for any Islamic insights on it or anything, but just money and wealth in general. What is the psychology of it? Like, how do you what's our relationship with wealth? Yeah. And now we can take it back to Islam and to our deen. And I actually think we do a disservice by sort of promoting this philosophy that wealth is bad. Sure, and I could quote Quranic ayahs where wealth is a test. We know that. Yeah. But in the same ayah it says children are also a test. Yeah. Amwalukum wa awladukum fitna, right? Yeah. So people say, your wealth is a test. Well, the same ayah also says your children are a test. Yeah. But we aspire children, we love children, right? So wealth is not in and of itself bad. Yeah. It's our interaction with it, our relationship with it. That can be bad. Yeah. So why is it important for Muslims to have wealth? So first of all, we got to have the right perception and attitude towards it. Wealth is just a tool that Allah gives us. Like the children that Allah gives us, like our success that Allah gives us, the popularity, the friendship, the risk, the everything Allah gives us. Wealth is just one more of those things that He gives us. Some of us that He chooses to give it to. So wealth is not bad. Allah gives wealth to whom it does, and then He wants to see what you're going to do with it. So that's the objective. That's the relationship that at least I think about. Yeah. When you talk about wealth, I'm talking about what's my relationship with my wealth. Yeah. Am I one of those, like some of the people in the early Islamic history who would, they would take a gold piece, kiss it, and put it in their safe and say, and then one more, and they would say to that wealth, you're never going to see the light of day again. What kind of sick relationship is that? Sick relationship, right? So we have to learn what our relationship is with our money. Are we in it just to count, just to add more zeros to our wealth? Or is it more, what can we do with it? How can we, what's the impact of that wealth that we can do? So that's one aspect of our philosophical relationship with wealth and money. The second part of it, which is a more practical one, I firmly believe that Muslims as a community need to be a powerful community. And powerful, I don't mean in that we're going to do something wrong with it. Yeah. Powerful as in that we can stand up for ourselves. Yes. That we can protect the ones who are weak. And that's a God-given responsibility to us to protect those who can defend themselves, those who are weak. How would we do that if we ourselves are weak? So wealth is just a tool that gets us that. I actually think all Muslims, everybody at least in the Western systems, should be highly educated. People are like, you don't need to go to college. You can learn everything on it. Sure, you can. But go to college, man. Go to good schools. Learn from the experts. because knowledge is
Top in your
power.
class. Like,
Top of it,
all
do everything. And that's, to me, and I'm not a mufti or anything, but to me that's a good thing that you do, that you get good ajr from it, that you're trying to be excellent, ihsan, in your education. And then in your professional careers. I took pride when I got good reviews at Microsoft. Not because it was giving me a better bonus or something, but because it was proving that we as Muslims have abilities, have skills, that we can be successful in a system which was kind of alien to us. For me, I moved here when I was 19 years old. So, but we can still be excellent and successful in it. So that's why I think wealth makes us powerful. We can affect change. We can solve problems that are worth solving, which wouldn't be solvable without wealth. That's why I think wealth is important.
Yeah, 100%. I think, the whole idea of the reviews thing was so funny because there was a company that I worked at where when they realized I was the one that put together an event or some part of some marketing campaign, and they're like, that guy, like the guy who goes to pray in the middle of the day, like he disappears for Jumu'ah, like that guy did this thing, and it was like, that guy did this thing, or when a mentor of mine, he got acquired by Shopify, people referred to him as this Muslim founder got acquired. Like that was by this huge tech company. It was such a amazing thing that young Muslims then go look at it and be like, oh, I can do it too. Like someone like me, someone that believes in what I believe in. It's not just about locking myself up to pray and this, that, and the other, right? So subhanAllah, like, I think it's a great reminder. I think having an impact and using money to have an impact, I think I saw this sheikh, I forget his name, Hisham maybe, Sheikh Hisham maybe, Ustad Hisham out of the UK. He was talking something about this. He was talking about something like this, and he mentioned Sulaiman alayhi salam and how he made the dua and asked for a kingdom like no other kingdom. And he mentions that, isn't it odd that the average person will then be like, why is a prophet asking for something in this world? Right? Why would he? But he talks about how it's what he's going to do with that kingdom. It's what he's going to do with that kingdom. It's how he's going to bring people to Allah, is how he's going to strengthen that deen, right? And it comes back to that. It comes back to the why. It comes back to your intention. And, money is money by itself, but if you're using it for the wrong purposes, it becomes bad.
Prophet Yusuf, the Surah Yusuf in the Quran is one of my favorite surahs. It actually is a favorite surah of many people.
Yes.
It's just a beautiful story, right? So related to our current topic, so when Prophet Yusuf gets out of the prison and he interprets the dream, what happens after that? He tells the king or whatever, he says, make me in charge of the money or treasury or whatever. And you'll find me Hafizun Amin. Like he sort of pushed for a job for himself. Why? Why would he do that? Because he was best situated to make good with it, to do something for the community, to do something, because he knew he was trustworthy and he had this God-given ability. So he asked for it and he got it. And then the impact that he has, obviously we can talk about that, right? So there's nothing wrong in that. As long as your why is the right why. So Yusuf alayhi salam didn't do it to make wealth for himself. But he was in charge of the entire Egyptian wealth. Right? But then he made good with it, to his family, to the community, and to effectively, we're still talking about him, I don't know how many thousand years later.
It's the influence, right? It's the influence at the end of the day. I think you said it to me. You said, I want Muslims to be more influential,
right?
It's less about being affluent.
So it's affluence versus influence. Ideally, you want to have both, and people choose affluence, which is nothing wrong with it. I choose influence. That's just something that I feel is more tangible with impact, rather than just affluence, which is fine. I don't judge anybody who wants to be very affluent. Go do it. but I choose to do more influence.
Yeah.
Affluent versus influence.
Amazing. Jazakallah khair. Is there anything else you want to add that you feel like we might be missing?
No, I think you're doing a great thing with this. You're bringing a forum where not me but other qualified people are giving you opinions, and I think there's again it's influence, again it's change, again it's positive impact. So I credit you with that, and may Allah bless you with this effort.
Ameen, man.
And Jazakallah for having me here.
Oh man, of course. Jazakallah khair for joining us. I think this episode, it was amazing because you got to hear, I think that journey that a lot of us, that young people go through. I almost said a lot of us young people, but I'm somewhere in the middle right now. That young people go through that, what am I going to do next? How do I choose between jobs and having, being great at something? And you talked about how you spent time, energy becoming great at something by getting your reps in. But ultimately it comes down to why. And so when you were at those crossroads, you took that power back, you took responsibility of that, and went and did what you had to do with it. You know, what Allah has given you, with what Allah has given you and the opportunities that He's given you. And, may Allah reward you for that. And I think that it's always a good reminder for Muslims that there are other Muslims that are doing this, that have went through these struggles, and, maybe learn from that, so that you don't have to struggle for a longer period of time. So Jazakallah khair for sharing that, and Jazakallah khair for listening to it. And please do share it across the board, not just young people. I think that everyone needs that dose of inspiration, needs that reminder, and we all need an intention renewal from time to time. And